Counties come a long way to prevent underage smoking. Ingham is one of only 3 counties in Michigan with a program designed specifically to stop it. So why don't other counties have similar programs? Well, it turns out the tobacco lobby has a lot to do with it.
Joe Khalil has a special report for us tonight on the influence of big tobacco on Michigan lawmakers 20 years ago and the way it impacts underage smoking today.
92. This song was at the top of the charts. George Bush Sr. was in the White House, and if a kid under the age of 18 wanted to buy cigarettes, all they had to do was ask.
And at that time, in 1992, 3 out of 4 times that children went into stores, they were able to purchase tobacco with no problems.
Amy Moore, tobacco prevention coordinator for Ingham County, says officials in the county's health department took it upon themselves to snuff the habit.
Licensing tobacco vendors, similar to licensing alcohol vendors, that was a very effective strategy in reducing youth access to tobacco through vendors.
The idea was simple. License every store in the county and send undercover teens on sting operations to buy cigarettes. If they aren't carded and walk out with a pack, the store gets hit with a fine.
We do check every store at least once, and we have been doing that for 20 years, and the results are very, very positive.
Moore says since 1992, when the tobacco prevention program started, sales rates to minors has gone from 74% to just over 9%.
So out of 270 visits, 25 stores sold.
If a store is a repeat offender, it can lose its license altogether. Moore says it's not common, but it happens.
So in 20 years, there's been 8 stores that have had a license suspension.
Moore says the threat of losing a license has kept Ingham County stores honest, and the proof is in the numbers. In 17 of the last 20 years, Ingham County tobacco sales to minors was lower than the state average. Most years, it's significantly better.
As long as we have this program in place, we know that more kids will be safe in our community, and we're very lucky in Ingham County to be licensing tobacco vendors.
Licensing cigarette vendors has been so successful at keeping these out of the hands of minors in Ingham County, so we were wondering, why don't other counties do the same thing? Well, it turns out since 1993, it's been illegal.
The Michigan legislature passed a prohibition, it's called preemption, and it said no other communities are allowed to do this this model program.
Why is that?
Probably tobacco industry power.
The only reason that local governments in Michigan are prevented from having this authority to protect their citizens is because the tobacco industry lobby came into Michigan in the 1990s and used its influence to convince our state leaders, our legislators, to enact this prohibition, this preemption.
Cliff Douglas, now a professor at U of M, was the former assistant director of the National Coalition on Smoking Health. He says passing preemption in Michigan was on Big Tobacco's agenda.
Tobacco companies say time and again in their previously secret internal corporate documents, which have become public, it's critical to recruit young people to use their products and become addicted and become lifelong smokers.
Douglas says it's not surprising tobacco lobbyists wanted to prevent licensing in Michigan counties.
So, for example, if a retailer breaks the law and sells a pack of cigarettes to a 15-year-old, they cannot revoke or suspend their license because there is no license, because the state has prevented them from doing so.
Cigarette licenses only exist in 3 counties in Michigan, and all 3 passed licensing rules before preemption became a law. Ingham happens to be one of them.
We've seen a significant difference between a county like Ingham, where they were permitted to continue using licensure as a tool, and the vast majority of jurisdictions around Michigan which lost that right. The way it works in real life, unfortunately, is that money talks. And when the tobacco industry lobby comes in, then they will often get their way. If local governments in particular had not been preempted, they would have had fewer kids who would have become addicted to this product that eventually will kill 1/2 of them.